Hi, Rob Dameron here again today. Today, we're going to start off talking about schema, and then the next video is going to go into up and down the ladder learning. But in order to understand how the brain works, we first need to talk about schema. Now, what schema is all your experiences, everything that you've ever encountered, all rolled in. It is your knowledge base. For example, we know what a dog is. So if somebody just says dog, we immediately associate numerous things to that dog. Barks, yelps, fleas, four legs, hair, nails, teeth, etc. Maybe you got bit. You also, for example, an experience. You remember when you were 6 years old and you're running down the street and the neighbor's dog bit you in the stomach, and then you couldn't find out if he had his rabies shots, and your older brothers teased you that you were going to get 15 shots in your belly, and you cried most of the day until they said, oh no, he's fine. Again, that was one of my schema. So what do we call that? That's called schemata. Okay? Schemata is the knowledge base that you have, the units of knowledge that you have. Your schema is constantly changing. Every day it's updated. It's kind of like hitting refresh on the computer. Every day, experiences, you're getting new experiences, and some are being overwritten. As you're learning, some things are false, things are being overwritten. For example, if you are taking a health class or a reproductive health class in high school, you might have a lot of misinformation concerning reproductive health. Your schema then is updated as the instructor or professor is giving you more and more data. Now, why are we talking about this? Well, we're talking about this is because everything that you experience, your events, actions, all that you do, all your knowledge is organized into these schemata, into these units of knowledge. And we are going to use this information to teach you how to read, how to learn. Okay? The learning is a process. Okay? And one thing that I teach is I never, ever, ever want any students to memorize anything, because memorization is gone in a short period of time. All right? So since schema is something that we own, it's experiences, you can ask yourself, you can be 15 years old and somebody can come up to you and say, hey, remember that time when we were at your grandma's? How old were we? And you say, oh, we were 8. Remember when she told you to go cut that switch? And then you could go on for 15 minutes telling the story about how grandma made you cut a switch and whooped you pretty good for breaking her favorite vase. So you're always going to remember these different events. When you try to memorize something, and you've probably done this in your classes, you memorize it, after a short period of time, it is gone. You're never going to be able to use it. So we want to make sure that learning is an ongoing process. Let me give you a quick example of using schema. Say, for example, you're learning vocab. Largesse. Largesse, the definition is bountiful or large contributions. All right, if we're going to use our schema and we think bountiful contributions, well, what time of year is it right now? Well, at the moment we're shooting this, it's almost Christmas time. Who gives us bountiful contributions? Santa Claus does. So if I have Santa Claus giving me lots of gifts, all right, what else about Santa? What do we know about Santa? What is our schema about Santa? So what's our knowledge base about Santa? Well, he's fat, he's big, he's huge, he's got a beard, reindeer, all this. What in here kind of says the same thing? Well, my goodness, the word large is in here. But the word is largesse. Some kids get a little silly and they say, oh, well, if you change the E to another letter, Santa's got a large S. So that's an easy way. Using your schema to now you've learned this word. You've learned it. You've made a bunch of connections to it. You may even draw a picture. Okay? Using this knowledge that you already have in the classroom is going to help you remember everything. Rather than memorization, don't memorize anything ever again. Use the events that you already know, and what you're going to do is attach them to what you're doing. Reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is a great use of schema. For example, say you're reading in your 10th grade English, you're reading Huck Finn. You can make a lot of connections to the character. He's about the same age as you. Some of the mannerisms, he doesn't like wearing the nice fancy clothes. He'd rather be in his loose rags, running around with his buddies. You can make a lot of connections from your own experiences. Some of the experiences that he has, along with Jim, up and down the river, you may say, wow, that's a lot similar to experiences I have. There's one part in the story where Huck befriends a family, and it's like the Hatfield and McCoys. They're at war with each other. They're neighbors. You may be able to attach your schema and say, yeah, you know, we got the neighbors across the street, and we're always battling for parking spots in front of the house, or they leave their garbage out 5 days a week, and they never take in their cans, and newspapers all over the place, and we're always battling back and forth. You can take that to help you remember those events. So there is a great link with reading comprehension. The next video that we're going to talk about is going to be called Up and Down the Ladder Learning, and we're going to see a little bit more how schema, how our units of knowledge that we already have, our knowledge base, how that is going to connect. So we'll see you on that video.